This video is going to be a talkie about smartphone photography, shooting locally through 2020 and showing local footage from my 3-mile lockdown area. 2020 has been a year for smartphone photography. With less trips than in other years, we've been reaching for the camera in our pockets while stuck in our own countries, and for me that's been my smartphone. With only one overseas trip in 2020, that's meant for 11 months I've been largely shooting with my smartphone while staying local. From March for several months we were in lockdown and told to stay local. Now at the end of the year we are again being told to stay local. For me, local meant staying in a small Yorkshire town with occasional trips to the Yorkshire moors, as shown in the footage. Often told while studying photography to always carry a camera in your pocket, as you would never know when you see a photograph. For a long time that was my pocket-sized Ricoh GR camera, but in 2020 it's been my smartphone. Smartphone cameras have improved so much, I think it's fair to say that only professional photographers or high-level amateurs can now tell the difference between smartphone photography and SLR or mirrorless camera photography. Going back 2 phones to a HTC One, it was obvious that the images from it weren't of a great standard. But now in 2020, the cameras in leading smartphones really are very good. Shooting with a smartphone is similar to using a digital camera with a fixed wide-angle lens. You need to move to get your shots, but this is a good discipline and makes photography more interesting than simply zooming in from where you're stood. While you can zoom in using your fingers on the screen, and some phones have multiple lenses to support this, as it's also seamless on screen, it's difficult to know whether the zoom you're using is optical or digital. For this reason I generally stick to photographing on the phone without zooming, so I know I'm getting the best optical results. Most noticeably when comparing smartphone results to a digital camera, the pictures can look sharper from the phone, at least with my gear, possibly due to the AI in the phone. And while photos you're showing from a smartphone may work together, mixing pictures from an SLR and smartphone you may notice a difference, and they may need a bit of post-work to give them a similar look. An advantage to shooting with the phone is that people tend to be less concerned about being in the photo than if someone is pointing a large SLR at them. Street photography can be easier, and video also. Now only my most expensive camera has better quality video than my smartphone. Certainly my GR's footage is inferior, and also a GoPro's. If I'm travelling with a phone, the GR and a GoPro, I find I'm shooting most of my footage on the phone. I shot my entire Australia video on smartphone, and I don't think it looks much worse. Even the GoPro, which the footage I'm showing is from, wasn't any more convenient, though I may struggle to shoot footage in a car with a smartphone. For shooting with a camera I tend to have to be going somewhere, a trip away or a day out, but the smartphone is always in my pocket. With few trips away in 2020, that's meant that most of my photos have been shot on the smartphone, even to the point that the current version of my photography website was all shot on smartphone. While I've been happy shooting largely with the phone for the last year, I'm looking forward to when we can travel again and I can get out the cameras, maybe even upgrading some of them and start shooting with them again. It looks like that won't be well into 2021. It's fun to play around with your photography, try different stuff and keep experimenting with your gear, and stay interested in photography through play with different options. A smartphone is definitely part of your arsenal, but traditional cameras will have a role for many years to come.